Do you find that homeowners are like shocked by what's excluded sometimes from their
People
policy?
are oftentimes very surprised.
Are there certain records that help a claim move more quickly through the process? What if my car is sitting in the garage and something happens? Does it make a difference that my auto policy covers it versus my homeowner's insurance policy?
That's a sticky question. And
Ooh. Whether it's a major storm, a flooded basement, or a damaged vehicle, most of us probably don't think about insurance until we actually need it. But when the moment comes, knowing what's covered, what's not, and how to document it can certainly make all of the difference. This is the In Your Corner podcast from CBS News Philadelphia, and I'm your host, Josh Sidorowicz. Storms and flash flooding have recently wreaked havoc across the area, flooding streets, damaging homes, and leaving some drivers and homeowners wondering what to do next. Well, lucky for us, we are joined by Jana Tidwell from AAA to talk all about protecting your home, your car, and your finances so that you can be prepared before and after disaster strikes. Welcome, Jana. Appreciate it.
oh, thanks for having me, Josh.
Okay, look, I think oftentimes we find that storms help to reveal or expose to people the coverage gaps that they didn't realize they had in their insurance, right?
Absolutely. A lot of people think the insurance is a necessary evil. We have it. We hope we
Hmm.
never need it. But then there are a lot of assumptions that, oh, I'm good. I have insurance. But then they actually go to file a claim. Some things are covered, some things aren't. And they feel as though, wow, I thought I had everything I needed.
Well, we are going to dive into all of that here today, starting with given we've seen a string of severe weather here recently, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people tend to make in that first like 24 to 48 hours after something happens?
They want to rush to clean things up, sop up water, rip up carpets, honestly, getting rid of the evidence, if you will.
Yeah.
You don't want to quickly get into that cleanup mode before you document all of that damage, because that's going to be very helpful for your claim, for an insurance adjuster to document exactly what that storm damage did, whether it's to your home or to your car.
See, so I feel like my natural instinct would be you're overwhelmed by what's happening. You want to go in and just start to fix it and make it like it was, but take a beat and take a picture, take many pictures.
Absolutely. Plenty of photos,
Yeah.
plenty of video with date and time stamps, just so you have what you need as proof of what that damage was before you go into that cleanup mode, because some things need to be cleaned up quickly
Right.
for safety reasons. But don't rush to do that before you document exactly what happened.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes you do have to take some steps maybe to mitigate any further damage. That's fine, but know that you get treat it almost like a crime scene. You need evidence, right?
Absolutely. You have to
Yeah.
prove exactly what happened for that claim to be accurate.
So let's start with because we saw so much video of this over these past few weeks. People's cars, streets turned into rivers. Cars were underwater. If someone finds their vehicle sitting in flood water, what is the first thing that they should do?
The first thing they should do if they are in that vehicle, obviously, is to get to safety. And what
Sure.
we say all the time, is turn around and don't drown. People don't realize just how strong and powerful water is. And it takes less than a foot of water to actually move your car. We've seen rain come down so quickly, so powerfully, and flooding happens almost in the blink of an eye. Cars can be swept away. You look out to a parking lot, the whole parking lot is submerged underwater. Once it's safe to get to your vehicle, again, we want to document everything that happened. Where was that flood line? How high did that water come up to on the inside and outside of the vehicle? And I've learned through the years by various mechanics showing me, those cup holders in the door jamb. Like,
Hmm.
is there dirt, mud, sand,
Oh,
anything in
okay.
those? Can you pull away a carpet and upholstery and see water and the same dirt and mud, in the floors? Has the water made itself into the console, into the glove box? Documenting all of that, getting your car towed to a trusted mechanic, and working with your auto insurance provider to make sure you have everything you need to file those claims. The problem with water today is vehicles are moving computers. It's all
Oh my gosh,
electronic.
yeah.
So once the water comes above the tires and into the car and maybe into the engine, all of that is a computer, the cameras, the technologies. So oftentimes it is extremely expensive to begin repairs and replacing things in the vehicle because of the costly pieces that make up that mobile
Yeah,
computer.
that's such a good point. Yeah, everything is so much more expensive that goes into it now. Even like you recommend too, even taking like pictures of the VIN as well, or with the stickers that are in the door jamb.
Absolutely, making sure you have all of that documented. Some folks keep your insurance cards, your registration, all of that in the glove box. Always make sure that you have extras of those, whether you maintain them digitally on your phone or you have a file in the house. So, in case those are damaged in your car, you have exactly what you need: your auto insurance, contact information, policy number, VIN, all of that.
So talking about, a nasty surprise when you figure out what's covered or what's not, specifically when it comes to vehicles, whether it's submerged in water or we saw trees, come down on a car. There are some key differences in what's going to actually cover you depending on the type of policy you have, right?
Sure, there are so many different pieces that go into an auto insurance policy. The most common and what everybody has: liability, and collision
Hmm.
insurance. And that, of course, is a personal choice depending on your vehicle, how you use it, if or how you want things replaced should
Sure.
something
How
happen.
old the vehicle is, maybe too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But storm damage, whether it's trees falling, extensive hail damage, flooding, those kinds of things, that damage is covered under a comprehensive portion of that policy. So if you don't have a comprehensive rider on your auto insurance, that storm damage is not going to be covered.
You're out of luck.
So if you're sitting here listening to, wait a minute, I'm not sure what I have, we always recommend an annual insurance review. The same way most people do it with their employers, with their medical benefits, life insurance, those kinds of things. Do the same with your auto insurance and your homeowners insurance policies and ask these questions. Everybody wants to know, right? God forbid, worst case scenario, what if this happens to me? Do I have the coverage I need to replace these things, to replace the car, the things
Hmm.
that were in the car, or my home, or the things that were in my home? Ask those questions. Your trusted insurance agent is going to be the person who can answer those questions for you.
Okay, so liability versus comprehensive. And knowing too, I mean, I know some people might only have liability, maybe because the car is older, and you talk about how expensive it is to repair a car. Maybe in certain situations it costs more than the car's worth, so it might not make sense. I mean, it's just kind of figuring out what would work for you, right?
Sure. So many people are holding on to their vehicles longer than ever before. It's close to 13 years now, the average age of a vehicle in the fleet that's on the road today. The challenge with those older vehicles is those parts are scarce for repairs and can be even more expensive to repair than some of the newer cars out there. So some folks think, well, my car is pretty old. I'm not going to incur the additional expense of a comprehensive rider.
Hmm.
I'm just going to cover and hold on to liability and collision. And you're kind of rolling the dice. If something happens, I'll just bite the bullet and I'll get a new car.
Someone recently asked me, okay, what if my car is sitting in the garage and something happens? Does it make a difference that my auto policy covers it versus my homeowner's insurance policy?
That's a sticky question, and
Ooh.
and that's something where you need to make sure that you're working with your insurance provider. What happened at home versus what happened to the car could be a combination of both.
We were just talking about this in the studio today. Whatever happened to just like a good old fashioned summer storm? Now we get these torrential downpours. It seems like every time it rains, it floods. You've got this severe stuff. I mean, we're dealing with this so much more often now. So, I mean, behooves people to figure out what they've got.
Yeah, these storms pop up, and you're right. It's not just the rain, little thunder, little
Sure.
lightning, the sky's clear. We've seen rain coming down sideways. We've seen hail,
Hail, yeah,
tornado
that's been a big one.
warnings.
Yep.
We've
Microburst. We now know what a
a
microburst is.
microburst
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But the damage, unfortunately, has been pretty extensive in these isolated pockets where these storms pop up.
Hmm.
So now really is the time to understand what your coverage is just in case you need it.
We saw a lot of flooding. Camden was hit particularly hard. A lot of people cleaning out maybe flooded basements right now. Um, there's a major difference when it comes to flood damage versus other damage in your home and what's covered.
Yes, absolutely. What folks need to know is water that leaks, if you will, inside your home, your washing machine overflows, the pipe that's in the dishwasher bursts,
Okay.
your sink is leaking, behind the wall. Water that leaks inside your house, that's a homeowner's insurance claim. Something happened inside your home that you now need to have repaired and replaced. Floodwaters from the outside, when the floodwaters rise on your street, say it comes into your home now from the outside, that is not covered by your homeowner's insurance policy. That would be covered under what's known as flood insurance. Flood insurance is only written by the federal government. You have to have a specific flood insurance policy, and there are plenty of rules and things to understand about that. Most people think of flood insurance policies. Do you live at the shore? Do you live near a lake? Do you live in an area where there tends to be a lot of flooding due to the proximity to those bodies of water? But that flood insurance, the everyday person in the suburbs probably doesn't have that federally issued flood insurance.
Yeah, where you're not thinking about it, or it's not, require. I know, having lived in Florida for several years, it's a requirement depending on which neighborhood or
Sure.
where you're at to have that. But yeah, I mean, around here, you're not required to. You might not think that you're even close enough to a body of water to be affected, but as we've seen, things are happening where you don't need to be that close
Yeah,
anymore.
you don't need to be that
Yeah.
close. We've seen storm drains, that are clogged. We've seen so much development and open space taken away. So when you have those microbursts, you have that heavy rain, and it comes down so fast that there's no time for the ground to absorb it. There's no time to be kind of whisked away on the roadways. It just starts to rise from the bottom up. And that's where we see this intense flooding so quickly.
Is there also a difference between, like, when you're talking flood coverage and insurance versus dealing with like sewer backups into your home too?
Oh, sure. Most people don't realize that if there is a problem with your sewer, you have to have a particular sewer rider, if you will, on your homeowner's insurance policy because the sewer is coming from the street. So it's coming from outside your home. Should that back up into your home, that's not covered by a standard homeowner's insurance policy. You have to have that special sewer coverage to cover any sewer damage. I'm sure you've seen people or heard from people who they have to have their front yard dug up
Oh
because
yeah.
there's something wrong with the sewer. That's the responsibility of the homeowner. And if you don't have that sewer coverage with your homeowner's insurance policy, that's out of pocket expense.
Do you find, I mean, you've been doing this a while here, do you find that homeowners are like shocked by what's excluded sometimes from their policy?
People are oftentimes very surprised because you kind of, you purchase a home, you sit down with the insurance agent, you decide what do you need to have, what are some of the maybe extras that you might need to add to your policy. A lot of people at that point are thinking, I'm trying to cut down on expenses.
Yeah.
But people's situations change. And that's why AAA recommends that you annually review your homeowner's policy. Ask those questions. Weather patterns change, as we've seen in recent years. So asking those questions on an annual basis, situations change. Maybe you might want to add some extra coverage to your policy. Again, it's one of those necessary evils that we want to make that investment to protect our larger investments down the road should something happen.
Yeah. A lot of people rent in this area too. What about rent? Does renter's insurance cover me in a lot of these situations?
Renter's insurance covers your belongings within that structure of a home, structure of an apartment. But the appliances, if they're not yours, the windows, the carpeting, and all of
Yeah.
those things, that should be covered by the landlord, the homeowner, the apartment, the company that owns the apartment, kind of thing. But Also, great opportunity to reach out to your insurance carrier and talk about your renter's insurance policy. Exactly what is covered. Is there anything that you can or should add to that renter's policy for additional protection, depending on exactly what it is that you're insuring within that apartment?
Say now that you're in a situation where something has happened, we sort of started to hit on this, but diving deeper into filing claims effectively. So, just to reiterate, like the importance of documentation in those initial hours after the storm.
Documentation is huge. You want to be able to prove to the insurance company, the agent, the adjusters, exactly what happened. So your phone has your entire life on it. We use it for
Hmm.
everything else. Taking photos, taking video, always better to have more than not enough. So take the 10, 15, 20 minutes and really go level by level in your house. What happened in the basement? What happened on the first floor, second, third floor, attic, if that's the case. And then outside your home, was there damage to the roof? Was there damage to the rain gutters, damage to the shed, the deck, the patio, furniture, pool, anything like that? Documenting everything so that you have a timeline. Those photos are day and time stamped. Again, as we said earlier, it really is collecting all of the evidence to build your case. This is what happened. You can then go back and see exactly when those storms went through your area, look at the timestamp on those photographs. Having that documentation is going to be key. Then it's contacting your insurance agent, your insurance provider, as soon as possible to begin that claims process. Don't delay the claims process whatsoever. You want to make sure you get that ball rolling so that they can get an adjuster out to assess the damage in person, but also utilizing the photos and video that you took.
What about if I'm having to buy things or stay somewhere else? Should I be saving those receipts too?
Absolutely. You should document every expense that you incur post storm, whether it is supplies to start to mitigate some of the damage, whether, as you said, you had to stay at a hotel, you have to rent a car, anything that you incur post storm that was incurred as a result of that storm, hold on to that. Some, if not all of that, could be covered by your insurance.
Are there certain records that tend to like help a claim move more quickly through the process?
Again, it's the
It's just the
documentation. It,
documentation.
it
Okay.
really is because you have the visuals. You can prove that that's not what it looked like before.
Hmm.
And speaking of the before, Josh, what we advise all homeowners to do, if you're listening right now, grab your phone again. Take that home inventory of what your house looks like today. It helps if there's storm damage. It helps if there is a burglary to your home. If, God forbid, there's a fire in your home. You have those before photos. Again, start at the basement, go all the way up to the top floor, do around the house as well. What do you have outside? So you have a before and after should you need it. Because if things are damaged, removed, and you can't prove it, that's really hard. So you
Hmm.
want to make this claim process as easy as possible.
See, Jana's so good. She knew that was my next question already. I know AAA, you guys are big on this home inventory that you call it, right? Walk me through kind of how do I tackle something like that?
Your phone is the first place to start, and it's the photos and it's the video. But then, if you want to go deeper, because we talked about it's always better to have more than not enough. You've got that big screen TV. Take the phone to the back of the TV. What's the model and serial number on that TV? You've got new appliances in your kitchen. Do the same thing. You've got you've got a hot tub. You've got these big fancy toys, if you will. Make sure that you have all of those things documented. The receipts, what you paid for it, what the model and serial numbers are. It just makes life so much easier. We used to have, and now I'm going to date myself, we used to have those file folders, right? Those accordion
Oh,
things where
yes.
you'd have all of the appliance, the instruction books and all
Yep.
of your paper
Yep.
receipts and all of that.
My dad still has filing cabinets in the basement with all of that stuff. You kidding me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So many of us have transitioned from the paper
Yeah.
to the digital images, but take the time to do that because it alleviates so many headaches should you need to prove this is what we had in the house. This is what we need to replace, so that you get the value for what was there. And we have so much today, right? So
Oh
whether
my
it's
gosh, yeah.
the MacBooks and tablets and phones and all kinds of technology things, if you will, it's just so helpful to have that digital visual inventory of everything.
As you were going through all of this, my thought process was, gosh, I got a lot of stuff I need to get rid of because I don't want to go through and inventory all of that.
That too, but also
Yeah.
think about and I don't want to dime out anybody in my house, but when they watch, they'll know what I mean. Like if you collect anything,
Uh-oh.
and some people collect, whether it's baseball
Yeah,
cards, some
anything.
people collect, expensive shoes, some people, whatever that happens to be, a photographic digital inventory of all of those things as well. Think about if you had to replace this, any of what this is, how do you prove you had it in the first place?
So once we've done the inventory, what else can I be doing around the house just in general to make sure that it's in better shape when a storm does come?
Yeah, there's a lot of preventative things that homeowners can do ahead of a storm or seasonally. And that's first, start with cleaning out your rain gutters. Throughout the year, whether it's twigs and birds, leaves, all of those things, the gutters get clogged. We have a quick microburst. We have a quick downpour. That water needs to go somewhere. And if the rain gutters are clogged, it puts a lot of pressure because water is so strong on those gutters. If the water can't get down the downspout, they're designed to pull the water away, allow it to get away from the house and not build up around the house and come in any way. Cleaning out the gutters is very important. Look at what your landscaping looks like. Do you have any trees that have dead limbs or low-hanging limbs? Get those trimmed and cleaned up. Do you have any dead trees? Do you have a lot of property in your yard? Do you have a tree that is,
Looks like it
not
could come
going to
down.
make
Yep.
it? When we have repeated storms and the ground is oversaturated, the roots of a healthy tree can be compromised, let alone one that's kind of dying and not going to make it. Investing in the few hundred, if not $1,000 to have that tree removed. I know it's a big bullet to take, but it's better than that tree falling on your home, falling on a neighbor's home, falling on a fence, or God forbid, worse. Then when there is a storm in the forecast, you want to make sure you secure your deck furniture, patio furniture, umbrellas, trash cans, those kinds of things. Because when the wind comes, I've had my trash cans on the curb for trash night. The storm comes, they literally blow and bobble down to the end of the street because I live on an incline.
And on the tree maintenance too, just being maybe a good neighbor too, and looking out maybe if there's trees elsewhere that you think, because that's always an interesting conversation for people. They don't realize if your neighbor's tree comes down on your house or vice versa, there's different answers for whose policies are going to cover that, and you might be surprised by the answer.
Yeah, your tree goes down on your neighbor's property. It's a homeowner's claim that your neighbor has to then open. Neighbor's tree falls on your property. That's your homeowner's insurance policy claim. So people are surprised by that. Wasn't my tree that fell.
Right.
Wasn't my deck umbrella that went flying. But people are surprised by what's covered.
I mean, look, again, just a good reminder that, when you're talking about recovery, it's not just about the cleanup. It's, knowing the coverage, making sure you're documenting, and using the time, if you were lucky enough this time, to prepare for the next one, God forbid.
Carve out those 15, 20 minutes. Call your insurance agent and say, hey, I need a refresher. Like, what do I have? What if this happens? This happened in South Jersey last week. This happened in Bucks County. If that were to happen here, am I covered? Do I need to add anything? That's always helpful. Cost you nothing to have those conversations, just to give you the peace of mind. Oh, I am covered, or oh, for a little bit more, I can add this.
And make it a habit. Do it regularly. Jana Tidwell with AAA. We always appreciate your insight. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, anytime.